This is C, 1, 5 is D. So it's a trapezoid, it's just upside down. What we talked about on Friday is that if they are perfectly horizontal or vertical, you can literally just count the length of the side. So the top is perfectly horizontal, I can count the top. So if you just count the distance at the top, how much is the length? 6. How much is the length of the bottom? 2. Good. So now what we're going to do is, because these sides are crooked, they are not vertical, they are not straight, they're not like side to side. We need to use the distance formula. That's why I had the formula sheets out. You should have got a formula sheet. So we're going to use A. What other point should I use for this side? D, because it goes to D. So we're going to use A, which is -1, 2. And we're going to use D, which is 1, 5. So I'm going to label this X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Remember, whenever I'm doing this, I show literally every single step possible. You do not need to show all of this work when you're doing this, okay? On your formula sheets, we are finding distance. So we are going to use the distance formula, which is right here on your formula sheet. So this is the formula we're using. This is why we're using Desmos, because we could just type the whole thing into Desmos. So in the formula, we're doing X2, which is what? 1, and I'm minusing X1, which is what? -1, which looks awkward because you have double negatives, but it's okay. I'm adding Y2 minus Y1. So what's Y2? 5. And how much am I minusing? 2. Don't forget your exponent of 2. And then we do not have to, you could solve this using math, but we're going to cheat and we're going to use Desmos. So it's like legal cheating. So don't hurt your brains if you don't need to. We're going to type this into Desmos. Do not forget your square root symbol. So we're going to say 3.61. Yes. Okay. For each one of these, because we're going to cross off some problems on the test, you are either finding perimeter or area. Instead of giving you a million of these, we're just going to find the perimeter and area for each problem. Okay. So let's start with perimeter. How do I find perimeter of a shape? Add up all the sides. So the top is 6. I'm adding the other sides, which are 3.61. I'm adding 2, and I'm adding 3.61. I went around 6 plus 3.61 plus 2 plus 3.61. You're adding all 4 sides together. So how much do I get? 15.22. Good. I also, because instead of giving you 27 graphs, I only gave you a couple, we're going to find area as well. So if I'm going to find area of a shape, this shape is a trapezoid. So look at your blue sheet. 1/2. B1 plus B2. Yep, so base 1, base 2. Now, if you look at your picture, can anybody tell me how high, how tall your picture actually is? No. 3. So if I look straight in the middle, it has a height of 3. How much is base 1? 2. How much is base 2? So you could type this whole thing in to Desmos. So clear Desmos. You're doing 1/2 times 3 times 2 plus 6 in Desmos. 12. So If your line is a straight line, you just literally count. If it's diagonal, you need to use Desmos. Okay. We are going to set up number. We're going to go to the second paper. Let me tell you which ones you're crossing out though. On the big sheet, you are crossing out number 5.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You're crossing out 5. You're crossing out 7
7.
and 6.
6, 7.
I did.
I'm sorry, guys.
So you're crossing out 5, 7, and 6. Not right now. Okay. Let's go to the little sheet. The little sheet is old. Can you stop? I'm sick. I'm already losing my voice. And I don't want to talk over you guys. Okay, on little sheet, it is just a review of 3D shapes because that is also on part 2 test because it's random. We spent like 3 weeks on shapes in the beginning of school. So we are going to do a couple together, and then that way you could just start practicing your work. 11 says, determine the surface area of each sphere. So if I look at my formula sheet, I need surface area of a sphere. What is my formula? 4 pi r squared. Now, if I look at my picture, is my radius 15.6? No. I need to cut it in half. So if I take 15.6 and I cut it in half, how much actually is my radius? Thank you. And then we're going to plug this into Desmos. Desmos actually makes our life a lot easier for 3D shapes. We're doing 4 times pi times 7.8 to the power of 2. It will do the exponent first because Desmos knows PEMDAS. So realistically, whenever I taught this to you originally, we should just use Desmos in the first place. But I was on summer break mode, apparently. So if you type that into Desmos, what is your answer? 764. Point what? All right. 764.54. Okay, take a second, try 12 and 13 because you already have it typed in. You just need to change the radius. Try 12 and 13 because you should already have it typed into your Desmos calculator. So all you have to do is change the radius. It's typed into Desmos already. All you have to do is change your radius.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I put an 8 back. Right, didn't be.
What?
Number 12 and 13.
Yeah, I mean, you have it right there, so you might as well type it in. I'm not going over the answers. Okay, good. Let's move on to 14. 14 says determine the volume of the pyramid. So if I look at my formula sheet, volume of a pyramid, what is my formula for pyramid? It is 1/3 big B H. Now we talked about big B. Big B, you need to find off to the side. So what shape is my base? Not a square. It's a rectangle. How do you find area of a rectangle? We said it's either length times width or pi r squared. length times width because it's a square, not a square, rectangle. So we're going to do length times width for the base. So remember, you're just looking at the base. So we're going to use what two numbers for good. So we're doing 10 times 8, which is 80. And then I can plug that into my formula. So I'm doing 1/3 times 80. And then what is my heights? 7. So remember, I show every step possible. You don't need to show every single step when you're doing it. If you know that you're going to do 10 times 8 and that makes 80, you don't have to write it down.
Okay.
186 point what? Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's like 0.666666666.
Wait.
7.
So it's like check 7. Or like 0.6 repeating.
Not 1/6.
Technically.
7.
Okay, since it's fresh in your brain, why don't you try 15 real quick? And then we'll do one more. Yeah.
Ain't 15 the same thing?
Yep. Okay, if you're already done with number 15, try 16. Same thing, but a slightly different. Same thing though. People are still working on 15. So keep going. Oh, it's not 10, 5, 8. So you're doing 3. That's why normally I don't use the dots. That's correct. Good job.
It's so good.
Okay. What'd you get? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do 16 really quick. We're gonna do 16 and 9. 16 says the volume of a cone. What's your formula for volume of a cone? Good. Big, it's the same formula, but big B is not length times width anymore. It is pi r squared because your base is a circle. Okay, so we're doing pi times 5 to the power of 2. The nice thing is Desmos, if you type that in, Desmos will automatically pop up the answer. You don't have to do the exponent first. So if I find big B, what is my big B? And then I'm plugging that in to 1/3 times 38.5. And now on the test, they give you both heights. They give us the slant height, which is 20, and they give us 18. If it just says H, what one do I have to use? 18, because it's normal height. So they're going to try to confuse you on the test. So don't get lost in the sauce. You are not using the 20. It's there to throw you off. Hold on, wait. 5 squared times pi. Oh yeah, it's not 7. It's not 38. I was listening to Carter. What did you go? It is 78.54. Not bad. I was listening to him. Okay, let's do one more and then you guys can start working on everything. So number 9 is the last shape we have not talked about. Number 9 is determine the surface area of the prism. So let's go up to prism real quick. I'll leave this up here for a second. Look at your formula sheet. What is your formula for surface area of a prism? B plus PH. We're going to start by finding the B. B is area of the base. So if this is my 3D shape, how do I find the area of the base? Base times height or length times width. Yes. So you're doing length times width. I always call it length times width. So what are the two dimensions of the base? 12 times 2, which is 24. I also have a capital P. So I'm going to start by finding capital P as well. What does P stand for? Perimeter. So I'm doing the perimeter of the base. So I have 2 2s that I'm adding, and I have 2 12s that I'm adding. So how much is the perimeter? 48.
12 plus 12.
Not 6. No,
Plus 28.
28. And then I'm going to plug it in. So in the formula, I have 2 times big B, which is how much is big B? 24. I'm adding the perimeter, which is 28. Times the height. How much is the height? 7. So type that all into Desmos. 244.
It's 76.
So you have one example of each problem. You can skip on the other sheet a lot of the problems on the back. So just start working on, if you want to do the 3D shapes first, do 3D shapes. And then go back and finish your perimeter and area problems of the other one. Let me know if you get stuck. Work with the people